All right, traders, coming off of last week, we do have a decent amount of fundamental data coming out this week. UK data with Brexit, CPI with the US, and Canada is actually having an interest rate statement, okay? Let's talk about it here. Roll the intro. All right, traders, what's up, guys? Welcome back to this week's Monday Market Breakdown. It's your head trader here, Kleveland Bishop. Hope you guys had an awesome weekend. We came off of last week, massive amounts of volatility. We did get an opportunity to catch that USD CAD sell side move, but outside of that, markets were very sporadic and very random in terms of their price movement. So lots of the structures became too unrecognizable for us to place any real type of positions on. But this week, things may have changed, and they may change throughout this week. Markets may start to consolidate, and that's when we start to identify certain price structures that we want to take action on. But as of yet, Aussie, yen, and even CAD right now, since we've already liquidated that position, we're not going to be touching those. Okay, so again, if you guys are new to the channel, what's up? I'm extremely happy to have you here. Okay, make sure you guys subscribe so you can get notified of all the new updates we're going to be coming out with over the next few days or so. And of course, if you like this content and if you like this video, like the video for your boy. I appreciate it. All right. So first things first, let's establish exactly where our currencies are at the start of the week. All right. And so what we'll do is we use this heat map inside of our community to try to identify exactly what's going on. So immediately you guys can see that the dollar is weaker across 8 of the larger reserve currencies, and so on and so forth. Right. So we have the dollar here, you have the CHF to its right, euro apparently looking pretty decent, right? Again, this just gives us an overall holistic view of the current performance. We also use currency indexes as well. But if you don't want to use that, if you want to just use the heat map here, this is what we got. So first, I do want to attack this dollar, just seeing now that it's pretty weak across the board. Well, what does that mean for us? Are there any currencies that we think could potentially be strong this week? Because if that's the case, we'll try to match the dollar with the currencies that we think are probably going to be a little bit stronger based off of the structures or based off of some of the fundamentals that we're currently assessing. Now, from a fundamental standpoint right now, in the US dollar, we do have CPI coming out on Friday. CPI has been doing well. Q4 CPI didn't do so great, but as we know, 2018 CPI did really good. That reading is what gave the dollar most of its strength back in 2018. Okay, so here, let's take a quick look at the USD Euro, zooming in real quick. Okay, so right now we do have a little bit of an up move happening on the Euro USD, as we just saw. That is predominantly that dollar weakness that's playing out. So that's another cool thing about the heat maps. You can immediately identify where your weakness or strength is coming from. But at the end of the day, we're still inside of this consolidation here on this Euro USD. Here, let me head out to the weekly so you guys can maybe establish a little bit more of an understanding as to where we are. There you go. Here, I want to actually draw up a fib as well. So if we draw up a fib from the high to the low, you guys will see that we're not even at that 23.6% Fibonacci retracement level. And that's pretty interesting because that tells us that this market is still fairly momentously moving to the downside. So of course, with this structure, we would like to see some type of up move eventually, whether that's euro strength or whether that's dollar weakness. Now, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we had a Monday market breakdown where I mentioned that I did want to see a little bit of euro strength. I felt like Brexit was holding the euro down. I felt like some of the quantitative easing policies right now in Europe that have been priced into the market, those are going away, and those were negatively affecting the euro. So I felt like those moving away a bit and potentially euro starting to raise interest rates would start to get people excited to start buying the euro. And then lastly, the Italian scenario right now happening, playing out in the European Union. That is also something that, again, if that rectifies, it turns out to be something positive, right? Well, then maybe you'll start to see that euro climb as well. Now, when it comes to the dollar somewhat outperformed 2018. So a lot of market participants think that the dollar was a lot stronger than it should have been, quote unquote. So I felt like that might start to add up to be a scenario where the dollar could start to pull back a bit. But of course, as long as markets stay risky and as long as markets stay very volatile in terms of emerging markets and all these different things happening outside of the US, no one's going to be selling too many dollars, right? Because that would mean that where they're going to be putting that asset. They're going to be putting that in more riskier economies? Definitely not. So as things calm down, if they ever do, you will start to see the dollar start to slide a bit. But as things stay as they are, you're going to see actually more capital going into the dollar. Here's a quick look at our S&P 500. This is the US index. You guys can see the market rebounded quite massively off of a 23.6% fib we go 3 years back, can't even see the freaking past on it. But you can see that the market did rebound after a pretty decent sized sell-off that started in October or whatnot. Okay, so was this directly correlated with what's happening in the dollar? Not so much, right? Not so much, but it is something that we assess because we do know that there is a slight inverse correlation from time to time when it comes to our US stock index and when it comes to our currency. Okay, so that's my idea on the dollar at the moment. I do think that overall over the next month or 2 months we should start to see the dollar pull back if markets start to calm down a bit. But as markets stay as tumultuous as they are and as risky as they are, this dollar's not going anywhere. And right now we're seeing just a little bit of a short-term sell side move on the dollar, at least for the day. Well, at the end of the month or at the end of the week, I think most of these days here are going to end up being green, all right, especially if this dollar again stays the way it has been. So that's something that we can continue to assess. Now, outside of that, from a fundamental perspective, we do have Canada. They are going through a potential rate hike coming in on Wednesday. Now, of course, right now we do have the Canada. If I pull open here, the USD CAD, you guys will see that the USD CAD has been selling off, which means we are getting some more strength from Canada at the moment. I'll zoom in for you guys so you can see that a little bit better. So this is the past, this is a weekly, and you guys can see the past 2 weeks, including today, that this CAD is continuing to sell off. We liquidated this thing at the $1.34s flat, and we're right now at the $1.3320. So that's pretty interesting. Here, I'm gonna zoom in real quick so you guys can see the daily on it. Look at that massive up move that we saw day after day. Now, you guys are well informed because we've been talking about how oil has been the base of that entire sell side move, right? So again, you guys can see that oil pushing to the upside. We were mentioning that we wanted to see markets break past this lower structure here, and that is what is happening currently at the moment. So what's good for us is we're still seeing that correlation with oil prices. So if there is a re-entry scenario that you can see on this CAD, it'll probably happen on an intraday basis because I don't see this market pulling back anytime soon. So now that means it's time for you to acclimate the strategy, right? So if you were looking for a pullback strategy here on the CAD, well, you're gonna continuously see this market probably push sell side. So a more breakout style, a more intraday breakout style strategy is probably something that we'll be executing on in the community, or that you probably wanna look at yourself as well. Okay, so lastly, I do want to go over Brexit, GBP USD. We'll take a look at that one real quick. I missed the U. There we go. And we can see that Brexit is turning around a bit, mostly again because of that dollar weakness. But let's take a quick look at Brexit on the heat map. We can see here that Brexit isn't having a horrible day compared to the euro. Brexit isn't performing, at its best compared to the CHF. Brexit isn't performing at its best, but overall Brexit is up. Right in here, if you guys head over and take a look at the euro, you can see that the euro is definitely predominantly up at the moment. And if we head over to the CHF, up here at the top, you can see the CHF is only down against the euro. So right now, Brexit is the strongest currency pair of the day, and that is mostly because we are seeing some positive data coming out, slightly positive data coming out with the Brexit. That's the thing. When you do research on Brexit right now, you'll get articles that look positive, and then you get articles like this one. Take a look below. I'll post it in the description as well. $1 trillion of banking money has left the UK going over into the other European nations, okay, because of the risk of Brexit, okay? So you have certain data releases that come out like that, and then you have other data releases coming out with Prime Minister May saying, hey, I'm doing everything I can to try to rectify this issue and try to, get the EU to agree to some of the terms. So she's almost negotiating down, I would think, and that sometimes can start to spike the pound to the upside just based off of the fact that Brexit is going to get resolved. So it's a situation where you really have to rationalize, okay, what's the more pertinent information dealing with this current situation, because that's what I'm going to keep my focus on. And as long as you do that, you should be able to weed through all the noise and potentially start to look at what it is that will make the pound go to the upside or potentially push sell side. So here we are right now on the weekly. You guys can see on the weekly markets, again, lots of sell side, but over the past few weeks, we have been seeing things trade higher and higher and higher. And again, my opinion, if we're looking out the next quarter by the end of Q1 2019, I do think the pound is going to be higher than where it is right now. It's all about getting the size and getting some entries on in that situation. Okay, so we're going to be going a little bit more deeper as to what is happening in markets on our Tuesday webinar in the Top Trader community. If you guys want to join in on that, click the link in the bio. We are going to be coming out with a trader tips tomorrow and a really cool new segment on Wednesday that I'm excited to shoot. I'll be talking to you guys more about that tomorrow as well. All right, so let me know what you guys are looking for this week. It's still early. US session just started about an hour ago for myself. By the time this is uploaded, it might be around noon. I don't know exactly what you guys see. Okay, are some of you guys playing intraday on that yen or intraday on that Aussie? Of course, the big structures on it, the weekly and daily structures don't look so good, but maybe you guys are finding some opportunity there. And what do you think is going to happen with Brexit? Where do you think pound is going to be in the next 3 months? You think it's going to be higher than where it is right now? Or do you think more negative implications are going to happen and this pound turns all the way around? All right, I'm excited to see your feedback. Again, if you guys have anything, let me know, comment below, anything and all questions, and I'll be right there to answer away. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow for the trader tips. Let's see what we get this week, okay? Talk to you soon.